Hey, Barrios, espero que todo está bien. Yo estoy listo para esta pelea. Seguramente va a ser una gran pelea para la gente. Aquí en Londres o ahí en América, yo estoy listo y voy a venir preparado. Avisa a mi equipo si estás preparado. Vamos.
Yo, bad news for Jaron Boots Ennis. The hits just keep on coming. In this video, I'm going to break down that bad news and why I feel it is bad news for Jaron Boots Ennis. Now, as you guys know, if you follow my channel, which you should be, that the fight between Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis is now off the table, not happening. I've made videos breaking it down and I will continue to do stuff. I am the best in the business and it's not even close. So that in and of itself made Boots look bad because we're sitting up here thinking that they're trying to make the Boots versus Vergil Ortiz fight, and come to find out, you know, at the 11th hour, Team Ennis reportedly wanted the fight at 147, which, you know, Vergil Ortiz can't make 147. Let's not play around. Let's not kid ourselves. So that would have been a deal breaker from the jump had that been announced, because Vergil Ortiz nearly killed himself and put himself in the hospital trying to make weight in the past. Now, the reason I'm saying bad news, let's jump right into it. Conor Benn, you see it. It says Eddie Hearn has declared they have now made an official offer to Mario Barrios to defend his WBC welterweight world title versus Conor Benn. Hearn insisted that Conor Benn will prioritize over Chris Eubank Jr. next, as Eubank Jr. fight will take longer to negotiate. So let's break this down. When Jaron Ennis signed to Eddie Hearn, I said I had questions and very concerned with the trajectory for Boots Ennis. Fast forward to the future, I'm not looking so dumb. We'll just say that. I'm not looking so dumb. There were a lot of people who said, oh, Ego, you're hating, give it some time. You know, Boots will remain active, so you're overreacting. So listen to what I just told you. According to Eddie Hearn, they've made a play to secure for Conor Benn, a guy who failed a PED test, said he was eating eggs Benedict, right? Poached eggs over easy. And they've made a offer for him to fight a champion with the PBC, right? In Mario Barrios. So let me get this straight, because I know some people are scratching their head saying, oh, Ego, get to the point. I don't get what you're trying to say. Let me put it together like only I know how to. So if Boots didn't fight Vergil Ortiz and the deal breaker was the fight would be contested at 154, so if he doesn't move up to 154 like he kind of said he wanted to after his last post fight, if you don't fight Vergil Ortiz, then I would assume you're going to stay at 147. And I'm assuming the rationale between not moving up to fight Vergil Ortiz, when you and your team said that Vergil Ortiz ducked you and they were sent an offer to fight and they turned it down, that's what your team alleges. So why didn't you go up to 54 to fight Vergil Ortiz? Then the argument could be made, oh, it's because he wanted to stay at 147 and unify. Okay, so if you didn't move up to 54 to fight Vergil Ortiz because you wanted to stay at welterweight and unify, then how is your promoter giving his UK boy Conor Benn a chance and basically sending an offer to a champion in Mario Barrios instead of a unification with Boots? Boom. Let me tell you this, my information, and I didn't want to put it out like that, but you know your boy Ego tapped in. My information leads me to believe that Amantis Stanionis, the other champion at 147 pounds, is going to fight against Giasov on Gervonta Davis's undercard, right? So if it happens, know where you heard it first. So Stanionis is out the picture for Boots unification. The only other champion outside of Boots at 147 is Brian Norman. And allegedly you tried to get that fight going and you couldn't get it going, and it never materialized over money. So again, tell me the benefit of Boots signing with Eddie Hearn. What have we gotten? He looked worse versus Karen Chukadasian than he did on the Tank undercard where he fought Chukadasian the first time. People are saying he got hit too much in his last two fights. They weren't as good as the Roman Villa fight on Showtime. His competition hasn't really elevated. People are saying he ducked Boots. And then now in his own division where he is a champion, people are like, oh, you're an email champion. So he needs unifications and big fights to solidify himself. Now, according to the report from Eddie Hearn, Conor Benn might get a title shot before Boots gets a unification. So again, what is Boots gonna do? Like, what is his next move? I am so curious what the game plan is for him, right? And I told you about this. Eddie Hearn hasn't made any American stars. Now you're starting to see why. Why would a UK fighter who failed a PED test get the Barrios fight potentially? Like, just the fact that you offered Barrios a fight instead of securing Boots a fight, who's never failed a PED test, shows me that that's where your priority kind of lies. You know, Boots is already being held in a negative light because of the Virgil Ortiz fallout. So if he wasn't going to move to 54 to fight Ortiz, then I'm assuming he's going to stay at 147. And no matter how you switch it, you're trapped. Because let's say he does vacate his belt at 47 and moves up to 54, then people are going to say, if you were moving up to 54, then why didn't you fight Virgil Ortiz? You certainly ducked him. So either way, you're trapped. Whether you stay at 47 or if you move up to 54, you're trapped. Because if you move up to 54 right now and you had an opportunity to fight allegedly on one of the biggest cards ever and get a career high payday to fight Virgil Ortiz on this Saudi card in February, then it makes no sense to turn that down only to move up to fight someone lesser than Virgil Ortiz, unless you viewed Virgil Ortiz as a threat and you didn't want him for your first fight. But again, that's going to look bad because for years people said Virgil Ortiz didn't want smoke with Jaron Ennis, and then now as we get closer to the flame, we see who backed off. So I don't even know where Jaron Ennis goes from here in terms of staying at 47 or 54, but I guess we'll see in due time. But the fact that Eddie Hearn is trying to set Conor Benn up for a title shot as opposed to securing a big fight for Jaron Ennis is a bad look. That's a L, because Jaron Ennis is the guy that people were checking for, and then look what's happening with his career. People were like, oh, Eddie's gonna keep him active. Yeah, but active against who? And is he gonna elevate his brand? So far, that hasn't been the case.